Pokemon Dev Chapter 3 Cynthia's first experience. Obviously, it wasn't just Cynthia who was shocked by this game's price, the viewers in her stream were completely losing it too, flooding the chat. 5,922 yen. This little pixel game that's barely a few hundred MB, how much content could it possibly have? And they dare charge 5,922 yen. The game creator is so generous, he could have just robbed us directly, but instead he went to the trouble of making a game to give us too. Even Angry Rocks only dares charge 2,036 yen, and Battle Road season passes are just 3,084 yen. What gives this game the right to cost so much? I bet they're using the 2 million yen prize as clickbait to make a quick buck, then disappear. Pixel game plus this kind of description. Wouldn't be the first time. The viewers had no idea about Cynthia's thoughts regarding the Rayquaza cover in the game creator. To them, this was just an outrageously overpriced cash grab, so naturally, they started tearing it apart. After all, what good game costs 5,922 yen? But the next moment, under everyone's gaze, Cynthia pressed the purchase button and chose to pay. Chat went dead silent. A few seconds later, it exploded again, question marks flying across the screen. Stay calm, honey, I can afford this money, but you can't spend it like this. Holy crap, 5,922 yen without even blinking. Boss has lost her mind. Facing these comments, Cynthia quickly explained. Don't worry, everyone, I'm interested precisely because this game is priced so high. If the content isn't good, as a game tester, I can get a full refund. Don't worry, based on what it says, this is a game about Pokemon battles. If I actually manage to clear it, there's even a 100,000 yen prize to win. With Cynthia's explanation, chat started to understand a bit better. Makes sense. If they dare post that description on the official Alliance website, once someone clears it, if they don't pay out the 2 million yen, the creator's going to jail. Ha ha ha, the creator probably thought they'd make a quick buck and run, making the game super hard, but they never imagined the first person to play their game would be Sinnoh's champion. Right, and Cynthia is the Alliance's designated professional game tester. If she's unsatisfied with the game, she can request a refund anytime. LMAO, so this person's game just sold one copy and now they're gonna lose 100 grand. Guy above, it's losing 2,050,534 yen. Be precise. Seeing chat calm down and get playful, Cynthia felt relieved. She definitely couldn't talk about the game cover information or her real hidden purpose. Information about the top tier, legendary Pokemon, was classified and couldn't be casually shared with ordinary citizens, or it might cause panic or other issues. So she needed a reasonable explanation for buying the game. Plus, when she saw that price, somehow a thought suddenly occurred to her. Maybe creating a game like this really is worth that much. Asterisk. Someone who understood the legendary Pokemon, Rayquaza, couldn't possibly be ordinary. Would they really make a cheap cash grab game? Besides, 5,922 yen really wasn't much for her. So what was the real situation? She'd find out by trying it. Anyway, being the first to clear the game and get the creator's contact info was her real goal. With that thought, Cynthia took a deep breath and, under her viewers' watchful eyes, clicked the game download button. The biggest advantage of pixel games was their small file size. Within seconds, a crisp ding sounded and an emerald icon appeared on Cynthia's desktop. As she clicked with her mouse, a window immediately appeared. After a black screen, a water droplet fell from a verdant leaf, accompanied by dynamic electronic music, dropping into a pond below and creating ripples. The camera panned up, under sunlight, across a vast grassland, a young man wearing a green bandana rode a bicycle, racing with the wind. Countless Pokemon silhouettes appeared alongside him, keeping pace. Running Manectric, flying Flygon, following Volbeat. And one adorable Torchic, clumsily spreading its little claws as it charged forward. Not paying attention, it tumbled head over heels, then quickly scrambled up to keep running, as if afraid of being left behind. The camera rose again, the screen burst with light, and immediately after, the emerald green game logo appeared. Pocket Monsters, Emerald. This opening animation left even Cynthia stunned. 6 months ago, when the Alliance invited her to become a special game tester, she'd actually streamed quite a few games. Pixel games made up part of that proportion, and in her memory, these games were characterized by crude, rough graphics that focused entirely on core gameplay. After all, Pixel games had the lowest production costs, they were the top choice for studios and developers with ideas but no startup capital. But correspondingly, their visual presentation would be very poor. Yet now, just this opening animation completely overturned her understanding of Pixel games. While it still had the familiar Pixel feel, the visuals were incredibly polished, even having a three-dimensional quality, as if truly presenting itself before her eyes. In this moment, just seeing this opening sequence, Cynthia immediately made a judgment. This was definitely not just some shoddy cash grab game. At the same time, viewers in the stream also realized something was off and started commenting. Holy shit, this is a Pixel game. How does this visual feel and presentation seem so strong? This music rhythm is amazing too, I feel brainwashed after hearing it once. Though it's way behind Battle Road's opening animation, this is already more polished than any other game I've seen. Uh-oh, it might actually be worth 5,922 yen. Cynthia glanced at chat and shook her head slightly. Just an animation like this definitely wasn't worth 5,922 yen. She'd need to see the actual game content to judge. But her heart was actually starting to feel anticipation. She took a deep breath and pressed the X key as prompted. The logo disappeared, replaced by a prompt. Please enter your name. Cynthia hesitated, then typed. Strawberry ice cream. Of all sweets, ice cream was her favorite. And strawberry was her preferred flavor. On screen, another prompt appeared. Welcome to the world of Pokemon, Strawberry Ice Cream. An adventure filled with courage and friendship awaits you. Never forget your original intentions, use bonds and passion to become the strongest Pokemon trainer. Right then, chat flooded with comments. She still loves ice cream so much, I'm crying. Haha, if I said the streamer is already the world's strongest trainer, how would you respond to that? But Cynthia, looking at those words, suddenly paused. Courage, friendship, asterisk. Bonds and passion, asterisk. Something different seemed to flicker in her eyes. After a long moment, Cynthia took a deep breath and solemnly pressed that start button. Upon officially entering the game, a little girl wearing a green cap representing her appeared on a moving truck. Jumping down from the truck, Mom came forward to explain the current situation. The player and family had moved to a new home in a small town in the Hoenn region called Little Root Town. Today was also an important day when the player would receive their starter Pokemon and set out on their trainer journey. As Cynthia played, Little Root Town's exquisite architectural design again surprised and amazed her. Though she'd never been to Little Root Town in the Hoenn region, the appearance of these surrounding buildings was exactly identical to the Hoenn regional features in her memory, completely consistent. You could tell the creator had definitely researched materials carefully and compared them to real examples. The swaying grass and trees in the wind, blooming flower details, and even the Pokemon accompanying the townspeople around town left Cynthia somewhat incredulous. All of it was lifelike, though somewhat blurry, it was remarkably realistic. Could a pixel game really achieve this? Next, as the plot advanced, after adjusting the clock at home and meeting a boy from the neighboring house, the boy asked Cynthia to call out his name. She hadn't realized this would be her rival going forward. Being terrible at naming, she just called him, black-haired boy, causing another round of laughter in chat. That's just how Cynthia is, without ice cream, she can't name anything. Haha, seeing the champion name things just like me puts me at ease. At the same time, discussions about the game's core mechanics appeared. So next is getting Pokemon, right? How's this pixel game going to do Pokemon battle animations? Feels impossible to pull off. Yeah, will they just skip battle animations? This game's scenery is already worth seeing, treat it like going on a trip. Shouldn't be. Didn't this game's description say the difficulty was really high? Something about heart disease and cerebral hemorrhage not being their responsibility. While chat discussed, Cynthia's character reached the forest entrance above the small town. Cries for help came from the distance. A Kuchina was chasing a professor in a lab coat around. Cynthia looked at this professor's appearance and blinked. Why did this professor seem familiar? Wasn't this Professor Birch from the Hoenn region? Strawberry ice cream, perfect timing, there are Pokeballs in that bag over there, help me out. A dialogue box popped up. Chat immediately burst into laughter. Holy crap, Professor Birch, is that you? Just a few days and you're this weak. A Puccina can chase you around. The top research professor of the Hoenn region is asking Sinnoh's strongest champion for help dealing with a Puccina biting his butt. Why am I having dreams like this? Ha 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 ha, strawberry ice cream, please help me ha. Hey, you in front, your comment is hurting my ears. At the same time, the Pokemon selection interface appeared before Cynthia. 3 Pokeballs, corresponding to a chick-like fire-type Pokemon with orange down, Torchic. A lizard-like grass-type Pokemon with a twig in its mouth, cool and handsome, Trico. And a water-type Pokemon that looked honest and cute, Mudkip. These 3 Pokemon were the starter trio, unique to the Hoenn region, popular starter Pokemon choices for new trainers in that area. Looking at the 3 Pokemon's images, Cynthia began considering. If this was a high-difficulty battle game, then this starter Pokemon choice would naturally be crucial. After all, she'd need to rely on this Pokemon to get through the early stages. As Cynthia pondered, Chat was giving her advice. Pick Torchic. Torchic is so cute. Mudkip is the goat, okay, like my Swampert's Pentagon Warrior stats. When can something 4x weak to grass sit at the table? Here's a grass not for you. How about Trico? I think Trico's pretty well-rounded, and evolving into Sceptile is pretty strong too. Looking at Chat and combining her own thoughts, she quickly made her final decision, choosing Trico's Pokeball. The reason for this choice was that she'd been somewhat interested in Trico as a Pokemon before. Now that she had a chance to experience it, that was pretty good. Besides, grass-type Pokemon should indeed have some early game advantages, with various recovery moves like Absorb and Leech Seed. As cool ripples appeared on the screen, the game instantly switched to battle view. Stirring battle music immediately began, boiling drumbeats and orchestral electronic harmonies that got your blood pumping. Looking at the interface and options before her, Cynthia instantly understood this game's battle system. Turn-based. Simply put, both sides took turns acting, with whoever was faster getting to move first. For a pixel game, this battle format did seem most appropriate. While controlling Trico to attack with Pound, she spoke to her stream viewers. From what I can see so far, this game is quite creative. But I haven't encountered a game that uses turn-based Pokemon battles before, so I don't know how deep this game's system goes in that regard. Chat chimed in with their opinions. Yeah, turn-based seems pretty decent. You move once, I move once, feels kind of boring though. Wouldn't that leave no room for skill, just whoever has a type advantage or higher level wins? True, that does seem like an issue. Polished graphics, great music, nice creativity, but the battle system is weak and boring, just number comparisons. Not as good as Battle Road. 4 out of 5 stars overall, assessment complete. Creation is hard, cheer me up. Creators, thoughts. Download the app for greater interaction. You can chat with me about my writing experience apart from the comments section. Taboo existence. Taboo existence. Torchic used Ember, super effective. While the chat was hotly debating whether turn-based combat was a fatal flaw for this game, Cynthia held a different opinion entirely. She thought carefully, turn-based combat might seem shallow on the surface, but it could have tremendous potential for development. Actually, Battle Road's mechanics were also a form of turn-based system, since it was just the program executing the game's content. Especially during PvP matches, whenever both players input commands, there was always a long response delay. Battle Road added voice command functionality, and with the excellent individual AI of the Pokemon, the battles felt more realistic. So, she was actually somewhat looking forward to this game's upcoming battle performance. That said, she didn't think this game could provide the same level of trainer understanding improvement that Battle Road offered. Because any Pokemon battle game faced an unavoidable problem, the developers had to have extensive knowledge of every single Pokemon. From the moves they could learn, their types and abilities, to their base stats, and even each Pokemon's real-world characteristics, everything had to be perfectly recreated to have genuine battle value and meaning. Battle Road barely managed this, but they had a professional team of over 100 people providing their database behind the scenes. Even so, Battle Road frequently had various bugs and mix-ups, like Pokemon with wrong abilities or type errors. Like Grass-type Piplup or Flying-type Torkoal. It wasn't that they were slacking off, it was completely normal. With so many Pokemon to convert into game data, problems were inevitable. And this game she was playing now was developed by a single individual, which obviously made this an even bigger issue. Thinking this, Cynthia shook her head slightly and refocused on the game. As Trico's pound connected, Puccina's HP instantly dropped by half. Puccina countered with tackle, and Trico took some chip damage. Trico's second pound knocked Puccina out completely, ending the battle. Seeing this, the chat erupted in heated discussion again. I knew it, turn-based is pretty boring after all. This doesn't look hard at all. 2 hits, and the opponent's Pokemon is down. Just pick the highest damage move each turn, and you're good. How is this as difficult as the description claimed? Though I'm surprised, the battle details are pretty well done. The Pokemon have proper animations when using moves, and their sprites stay in motion, not stiff at all. True, the art team really delivered. I think the gameplay team should bow down to the artists. They didn't know, like Cynthia did, that this game was developed by one person alone. They assumed it was made by a studio or major company. After all, looking at the quality in certain areas so far, it definitely didn't seem like something one person could create. As the battle ended, Cynthia's character returned to the town's research lab with Professor Birch. As a reward for helping him, Birch gave Trico to Cynthia as her starter Pokemon. Her rival, the black-haired boy, chose Torchic as his starter, and the moment he got the Pokeball, his competitive streak kicked in hard. He immediately demanded a Pokemon battle with Cynthia. This battle was just as easy as the previous one. Torchic was even a level lower than Trico, and Cynthia defeated it with ease. The rival left, and Professor Birch told her to head north to find him on the upper route, saying he had forgotten to give him something before he ran off. He also handed her 5 Pokeballs. Cynthia obediently set off with Trico. Before leaving, she opened the player menu to check her Pokemon status in her bag, getting a sense of how this game differed from others. With abilities and types fully recreated, Pokemon stats were displayed numerically. Her Trico's most outstanding stats were speed and special attack, several points higher than the other stats. This made Cynthia raise an eyebrow. She'd expected this game to do poorly at recreating real Pokemon, but the situation before her was surprisingly good. Though she'd never trained a Sceptile before, she clearly knew that Trico, being a starter Pokemon, was characterized by high speed and special attack. Obviously, the game developer had recreated this accurately. So could she deduce that every Pokemon's data in the game was properly recreated? As soon as this thought emerged, Cynthia dismissed it, probably not. Trico's information was easy to find online and well-known, so getting it right didn't prove much. Other obscure, uncommon Pokemon would be nearly impossible for the developer to recreate without access to a proper database. Still, managing this level of accuracy showed the creator put real effort into it. After checking her Pokemon's info, Cynthia followed the game's guidance northward, passing through a small town to reach the northernmost patch of tall grass. Along the way, she encountered many wild Pokemon in the grass and battled them all. The battles were easy, and Trico's level rose smoothly from the initial 5 to 8, improving its stats while learning a new move, Quick Attack. After talking to the black-haired boy, he claimed his Pokemon was now completely different and demanded another battle. The chat burst out laughing. This guy's pretty nice, he's basically a walking experience pack. It's been like 2 minutes and he's already rushing back to donate more express. Good guy living a good life, may all his good deeds be rewarded. Amid the chat's cheerful laughter, Cynthia entered the battle. However, 2 seconds later, she realized how serious the situation was. Because her opponent sent out the same Torchic as before. But, its level was actually 1 higher than Trico's, reaching level 9. Cynthia suddenly had a bad feeling. Level 8 vs level 9. Could she actually lose this? No, that couldn't be right. This was clearly just part of the tutorial quest flow. Level 9 was probably just for show. This black-haired boy, she'd named should be like a tutorial guide, just there to teach her some basics. Thinking this, she had Trico use Quick Attack. Trico charged forward at high speed, twisted its body, and brought its tail down hard. Torchic's HP bar dropped by less than a third. And then, Torchic opened its mouth and spat out a burst of flame. Torchic used Ember. It's super effective. Trico's HP bar plummeted like a roller coaster, instantly dropping below half and flashing yellow. Cynthia had anticipated that with a 1-level advantage, Torchic's type effective move would deal heavy damage to Trico. But she hadn't expected one hit to take half of Trico's health. At that moment, she remembered passing through that town earlier and entering a blue building. It seemed to be an item shop, and she'd casually bought a potion that could restore Pokemon health. She quickly opened her bag and used the potion on Trico. Purple mist sprayed out, and Trico's HP bar instantly filled back up. But before she could breathe easy, Torchic attacked again, flames shooting from its mouth and instantly knocking Trico's HP back below half. At this moment, Cynthia realized that, unlike other games, using healing items also counted as using up her turn. So now this situation was basically unsolvable. Whether Trico used Pound or its newly learned Quick Attack, it could only take down less than 1/3 of Torchic's HP. But Torchic only needed 2 Ember attacks to knock Trico out. That potion had only delayed her loss, not solved the fundamental problem. What now? It seemed like no matter how she played, she was going to lose. Faced with this situation, her champion-level battle instincts kicked in, and Cynthia quickly calmed down to think of a way out. But seconds later, a prompt suddenly appeared on screen. Since you didn't give your Pokemon a command in time, your opponent attacked first. Torchic used Ember. It's super effective. Crimson flames erupted, Trico was hit, the screen shook violently, and its HP bar emptied instantly. 2 embers, with type advantage, had one